2 or more sacks, everyone will go home with $5 off a $20 Ultimate Wash, courtesy of Mike's Car Wash. Mike's Car Wash, official and proud partner of your Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's get this win, guys. Come on.
Bengals fans,
I know you guys aren't here live with me, but feel the energy.
And other intense lighting will be used throughout tonight's game. These lights might affect.
Play real hard to get here. Let's not screw it up now. Go Raiders. It's an electric atmosphere. That being said, go Raiders. Chase to the corner or something. That's likely what they're going to do. Of course they're sending Chase to the corner. Who they want to give it to? Come on. Get him. Oh, false start. There we go. There we go. Full start. Hopefully. Yeah! Full start. The ball out.
Joe Mixon. Tackled by Max Crosby. Third and goal. Ball spotted at the Las Vegas 4-yard line.
Yes! Down to the 12! We're here to shoot for our team. That was awesome. Hell yeah, Josh Jacobs. Come on. Get this TD. Get this TD. not bad, but not good on it. Third and 8.
Mike Hamilton with the cover for the Bengals. It's third
seconds left in the half, guys. We got to get something here. Hopefully it's up.
I can tell there was
do it again. Yeah! Down inside the 10. Brian Edwards.
Derek Carrier with the reception.
Oh no, Waller. That was Darren Waller.
Jesse Bates.
Oh, that was Edwards. I didn't even know Waller was in this game for the longest time. No, that's really how much we've needed him in the last 4 games to get here. I didn't even know that was in. First and 9. Let's get this TD. Get it down to 3 points. right, Jacobs. All right, Jacobs. Go. Oh, flag.
Josh Jacobs.
Field goal. We chose field goal. Nope, at least it's going to be 16-23. As we're ready to stop here. This is it. Pretty much it. We can't get a stop. There we go. That's the Raiders defense, I know.
Joe Mixon, the Bengal ball carrier. Stopped on the play by Damian Square.
Can I just get a big breakout across the middle? Like, nobody ever asked for that. These guys
doing
are
Joe Burrow still. Still in a situation where we're probably going to lose. Come on, guys. Prove them wrong all year. Do it again. Do it again. Let's go. Do it again. No. Thank gosh. We're getting it back. We're getting it back, man. They get it. Again. Another chance to win the game. Less disappointed by how my team played. Congratulations to the Bengals. They played a good game. They beat a team that was just as hot as themselves. I wish them the best of luck in the playoffs, even though we lost. So, we'll be back next season, like usual. I'm not disappointed. They gave their best effort. This team has their number. I've known that for a while. I knew what to expect. So, congratulations to the Bengals. Have a good night. Alright guys, so as you could see, that was the footage from the wildcard game that was against the Bengals, but there have been some interesting headlines since, because I took this over 2 weeks ago. And I've been trying to get it uploaded. I never found the time to edit it, but this is after I got finished editing this, and this will be put in at the very end. But yeah, I think I mentioned the two really cool Bengals fans that we were next to. They were kind of drunk. They were also really cool, though, because we were talking about parlays and stuff, because they were putting their money on this, and they needed this to win. So congratulations to them. They won some money for that, because they had it set on some other things, too. Like, you know, they needed, like, for one, Jamar Chase to get a touchdown. He never did, so that didn't go their way. But the Bengals won, so that's what they needed. They said that was the most important part of it. It was nonetheless really interesting that I met these guys, and they were really cool. And I know Joe Burrow's from Ohio, so I was asking like where they were from, because they were not too far from Cincinnati. They lived about 30 minutes away from Athens, which is where Joe Burrow is from, so I figured it was interesting. And we're actually all from Ohio, so it's
It's kind of weird, but yet somehow I'm a Raiders fan. The reason for that is just, I think it's why people root for certain teams is odd, especially when they're not from that area. But it is common. It's like how you see Steelers fans everywhere that aren't even near Pitt. Like, you could probably go out to Los Angeles and find a bunch of Steelers fans there. It's just weird. That's how, like, NFL fan bases and stuff work, is depending on how likable the team is, the likelihood the fan base is going to be bigger. And Pittsburgh and Dallas are probably the two biggest markets in the NFL when it comes to fan bases. But as I mentioned about those interesting headlines, I was talking about those guys I met. I kind of wanted to give them a shout out because they were very cool. So thank you for making my experience much more interesting, because I think that's the first time I can say I went to a football game and bonded with fans of the other team. Because when I went to Indianapolis and Cleveland, like, the people in Indianapolis weren't bad either, but they weren't really the most friendly. And the ones in Cleveland were just, they wanted to fight you. Like, these people were drunk, and after the game, we saw 2 Browns fans fighting. So that's how bad these fans are. Like, they will fight anybody if their team does not win. But they probably still would have fought even if they did win. But yeah, now I'm here to follow up on what's transpired within the last couple of weeks. The Bengals are in the fucking Super Bowl. I'm wondering how that happened. So the last 2 games they played, first off, they go to Tennessee. They barely win that game by a field goal. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of Bengals fans are going to hate me for saying this. I think it had more to do with Tennessee's bad play than it did Cincinnati winning that game. Because Tennessee, man, on average, I think this year they probably put up around 30 points a game. They put up 16. Tannehill probably he threw 3 interceptions. That's not typical Tannehill numbers. But I really do believe the Titans were the best team. I don't care how Kansas City looked up to that point, or if they had made it farther. I don't care. I think Tennessee was legitimately the best team, even with Derrick Henry in there. But they just look so bad when they play the Bengals, and I mean that. Cincinnati's defense has not been very good all season, but all of a sudden, in the playoffs, they show up. Well, really, they didn't even show up against the Raiders in that wild card game. I think a big part of why they won that game was the Raiders themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. There were a couple of times they probably could have been more aggressive and got a touchdown. Like within the last few minutes of the game. They were down 16-26. I think there was about 5 minutes left or so. Yeah, they're down by 10. I mean, they should have went for it and tried to get a touchdown. Because if they get the touchdown, then they're only down by 3. And you guys know how Daniel Carlson's been. We go to overtime, and we probably win. I think the Raiders win. And what I'm about to say is it really could have been the Raiders just as well as it was the Bengals. Because I think either way, the winner of that game would have went into Tennessee and got the upset. So, now I don't know how it would have went with Kansas City because we don't play very well against Kansas City. But one thing I think would go well in our favor is we've already lost twice, and it's extremely hard to beat a team 3 times. Just ask the Rams last night. Or not the Rams, the Niners. They sweep the Rams in the regular season, then they go to SoFi again and get beat. Which makes sense. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times. And then Tom Brady last year lost twice to the Saints in the regular season. Goes to New Orleans and wins. So yeah, it's just really hard to beat a team 3 times. But I still, from what I saw yesterday, I believe the Titans probably still were the best team. Because then Cincinnati goes to Kansas City and they win last night, and now they're off to the Super Bowl. They went from winning their first playoff game for the first time in 31 years to being in the Super Bowl for the first time in 34. It's crazy. I don't know. It might have been only 33 because I think it's the 88 season, but they went in 89 technically, and that was the last time they were in the Super Bowl. But that's crazy. That it just went from they sucked in the playoffs all these years to they're now a Super Bowl team. Okay, I can't wrap my head around all this, man. The playoffs have been crazy. It's like March Madness almost. I mean, the Rams did make a little bit of sense. I could have seen the Rams. But not the Bengals. Not the Bengals. In fact, I had them losing in that first game, but I mean, it did make sense. I wasn't surprised they won in the wild card. I was surprised they won the last 2 games against what we considered to be the clear 2 best teams in the AFC. Even though Tennessee might have been a little overrated, they were at least second, in my opinion, over Buffalo. But yeah, and they were pretty close to almost playing Buffalo. If Buffalo had stopped Kansas City in the last 13 seconds of that divisional round game, that's them. And I don't know what happens if it's Buffalo, but I still have a feeling that Cincinnati would go anyway. It's like it's this underdog mentality story of, like, you know, Joe Burrow and how he was injured and just 2 seasons ago. Because even in the promos for this game, this team had the worst record in the NFL in 2019. And that's how they got Burrow. And just 2 years later, this guy has 1 healthy season. This team goes to the Super Bowl. And I did have a feeling, because Joe Burrow had there was that same revolving story around him at LSU. But now it's transpiring in Cincinnati in the NFL. And he's only doing it in his 2nd season. Now that I think about it, he's tying a record that Ben Roethlisberger had. But only in age, he's older than Ben was. But he's doing it as early in his career as Ben did. But this could also mean his career ends up being shorter too, because he started later. And he suffered an injury his rookie year. And usually when quarterbacks start to suffer injuries like that, it tends to be a recurring thing for the rest of their career, like Andrew Luck. Hell, that guy should have led Indianapolis to a Super Bowl. But unfortunately, he didn't stay long enough. I felt like if he stayed in the 2019 season, the Colts would have won the Super Bowl that year. I don't think it would have been because in 2019 it was the Chiefs. I think it would have been the Colts. Andrew Luck unfortunately retired, and that led to their downfall, and they only had about a 500 season. I think they were 7-9, but I'd say about a 500 season really is what that would have been for them. But yeah, just crazy stuff, guys. I mean, I did not think that after watching that game that Cincinnati was going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. And they could still end up winning it, too. That's the crazy thing. Because they're in the Super Bowl. I think we still throw out this idea that, you know, Cincinnati's gone as far as they can. No, you got to throw that out the window now. Cincinnati's capable of winning it all, surprisingly. I mean, like I said, this team went from being the worst team in the NFL 2 seasons ago to a Super Bowl team. And if you think about it, this is almost like a rookie year for Joe Burrow. This is his first full season playing every game without an injury.